All right. We have a game that is interesting today because we don't have the official status on Trae Young. It's seeming like reports are not that he's going to be. I mean, a couple things are making it seem like Trae Young is not going to be anywhere near healthy. You could look at just the markets, right? Anytime you want an indication of how an industry is doing, whether it is the energy sector, technology, you could look at some of the heavy hitters in the market and the overall market, right? If we're talking the actual stock market, the S&P, right? New York Stock Exchange, Chicago, whatever it might be. Same exact thing you could do in sports. You could look at the market. You have a Trae Young questionable today. Giannis, who came in questionable to the last game, he's probable. He's on the injury report, but probable. Bogdanovich is probable. He played big minutes last game. But Trae Young being questionable, leaving that game, coming back into that game, which, there's adrenaline. There's the injury is not yet sore. It has not had a day to sit. You have not slept and not moved for 6 to 9 hours and let it get stiff and all that type of stuff, right? Swell up, whatever it might be. Trae Young, they were in a position to change a lot of things. Nowhere near favorites in this series. But what I could tell you is that Trae Young and these Atlanta Hawks were up sizable, 15 points at one point in Game 3 in a 1-1 series. And Trae Young gets hurt. They end up losing the series. They only score 4 points in the final 6 minutes of Game 3. Yes, John Collins had 4 points in the final, if you want to get specific, 5 minutes and 52 seconds, right? So it's interesting. And I see some people up in the chat. How y'all doing? Put any chat you want in the live chat. We're going to get to them. But it's interesting because they're down 2-1. I put a tweet out about this about an hour ago. They're down 2-1 in this series, Atlanta, right? And obviously big underdogs. We understand that coming in just to get to this point, to get through Philadelphia, right? To get all the way here. The Knicks with all the hype that they had. They're down 2-1 in this series. And, I mean, they're at home today. They're down 2-1 at home in Game 4. And the Bucks implied odds across sports books right now are 95% to 96% to win this series. I get it. The Bucks are up 2-1. They're the better overall team. I understand that. But 95 to 96% implied odds, meaning that they're minus 2,200, minus 2,000 favorites right now to win the series. It's not like they're up 3-0. It's not like they're up 3-1. They're up 2-1 on the road in Game 4. So is that a record? Do you guys think that's a record? Obviously, I don't know. I have not looked back at every single conference finals with Vegas odds, but it seems weird that a team who's only up 2-1 on the road in Game 4 can be a 95% to 96% chance in some sports books implied odds to win. That's crazy. That is crazy. So I see some people in the chat. We're going to talk about the spread today on this one. We're going to talk about any line movement. We're going to talk about the over-under, which I have a bet on. Some of the player props, any of your questions on those. We'll talk about the markets in general over on Polymarket as well. And DFS, as always, whether it's DraftKings, if you play FanDuel, like we can relate to that. But yeah, we're just trying to talk this game from all betting angles. If you just want actual X's and O's on how things might match up in general, we can go there as well. So we got some questions early right now, so let's hop up into those. So appreciate it. Mark was in here early. He said top 2 captains and best play from Atlanta if Trae is out. If Trae is going to be out today, I think that the best play from Atlanta probably becomes Lou Williams. Lou Williams and Trae on the court at the same time is really difficult because their defense is bad, both of them, right? So you see that sometimes they go to that lineup for a little bit, but not all that often. But if Trae is out and 40 minutes of Trae Young are now gone from the point guard rotation, yeah, you'll see Kevin Huerter, you'll see Bogdanovich, but you'll see Lou Williams. You'll see Lou Williams play more than 10 minutes. And his defense being bad just kind of replaces Trae Young's defense being bad. And also there's the fact that Lou Williams is $2,800 now, and even if he doesn't start, he's now in line instead of 12 for 24 minutes, so he probably becomes the best play. But a lot of guys get the bump up there for sure. Top 2 captains today for me are going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo and Drew Holiday, personally, for me. Williams or Connaughton today? The answer for me is Connaughton, Pat Connaughton. I haven't projected for decent-sized minutes. Not as big minutes as last time because I don't think that Capella doesn't play the 4th here, but there's a chance. But we can pull up the minutes right here. See everybody get it up in here. I appreciate that. So you can see that I have right now Connaughton projected for 28 minutes. I only have Lou Williams for 12. But if there's no Trae Young, then Lou Williams, even if he doesn't start off the bench, Lou Williams, I would prefer over Connaughton. Just a much better offensive player. I think that speaks for itself. Who do you think is in play for cash games today? I think Giannis is a must-have in cash games because I haven't projected. Listen to this closely. Let's zoom in here. I have Giannis Antetokounmpo projected today for more than 20 points more than anybody else in the slate. Now, that shouldn't shock you that he's my highest projected guy. He's the best player in this game. It's not particularly close. Trae Young has been playing very well. Trae Young is not a top 10 player in the NBA. Giannis clearly is, right? So he's the best player in this specific game and series. and he's by a wide margin for fantasy purposes. I have Giannis right now projected. Let's get the exact number here. Right now, I have Giannis projected I have him for about 16 more points than Trae Young. If we're not counting Trae, if we're talking about the rest of the series and all players outside, which 16 points is a lot there. If your name's not Trae Young, I have Giannis for 20.2 more points, 20.3 than anybody else in the slate. Trae 16. So yes, Giannis if you're playing cash games on Showdown, which I would not recommend. If you're playing cash games on Showdown, and really anything from a Showdown standpoint, I'd prefer the 2-game slates. We have another one today. Thankfully, the Clippers were able to win. I mean, it ruined my spread on the Suns -5.5. It ruined my poly market stuff in terms of buying them at 69 and 67 cents, which based on the implied odds I thought was nice. But yes, the Clippers actually winning. The benefit there is we get a 2-game slate today and tomorrow. We get a 2-game slate tomorrow because this series for the Bucks can't end, so tomorrow and the next day. So that's nice. We get some more 2-game slates. But if you're trying to play cash games today, I would far recommend moving into the player prop streets, moving into the markets and the betting markets, whether it is poly market, whether it's just a DraftKings, a FanDuel, just getting some sort of action down, trading on poly market or the props, player props, wherever you can get action down. If it is prize picks, it's just where all my action is right now and where it will primarily remain until UFC, right? Big UFC events coming up, and just in general, I'll play main contests, but until the NFL preseason, which is luckily for us, not that far away as we're about to be in July before my birthday tomorrow. So we got to get through that first. How are you, Sal? Hope everything has been well. Everything has been great. I dropped the parents off at the airport this morning. They were here for about 5.5 days visiting Austin, seeing Texas for the first time ever that they were in Texas. So it was cool. Show them around. And it was a ton of fun. So now it's a little bit of a relaxation tonight, birthday tomorrow. And then 3 fun weekends in a row start to come up. Some wedding stuff, obviously the 4th of July. It should be pretty fun. Hopefully you're doing well as well. Taste the Skittles. Do you have a top 5 plays today? Specifically on the Showdown slate today, it's probably going to be the big guys from Milwaukee. I mean, they all look great. Giannis, Drew Holiday, Middleton, Trae, and Pat Connaughton. Like Pat Connaughton is the value today. It easily becomes Lou Williams if there's no Trae Young, which people are asking me, what are the odds? I think somebody says in here, what are the odds Trae Young sits today, asks Ryan Frey. Ryan, how you doing? Same guy who asked about the top 5. I don't have the exact odds for you. He's questionable. Questionable usually means 50-50. He came back into that last game. That's better than not returning, so he was at least able to play, so it's probably not something structural or to that extent. I would say the odds of him playing today are probably 65% that he plays today to 70%. If I had to say myself, where am I getting that number from? I'm just fucking pulling it out of the air for the context clues. Best cheap captain tonight. The cheapest I would go at captain tonight is $9,400 Drew Holiday. That's actually a good segue into who I actually have in as captain. So this is the Big Energy Optimizer. We have an optimizer on Patreon. Yes, we do. Industry low price for actually all the tools, the groups that you're able to make, stacks if you want to do all that type of stuff. But these are my only captain options tonight. Here they are. 5 guys. The NBA, if this was the NFL, I'd have a little bit more. And now in the NFL, I usually like to condense my captain pools. So if you're playing like a 20 max, I would only choose, honestly, 2 captains, maybe 3. 150 max, I'm fine with these 5 guys. Single entry, 3 max, I'm probably using 1 captain. But these are the 5 captains that I feel comfortable with. So Drew Holiday is the one that I like the most in terms of upside, but John Collins did make a captain pool for me at $8,800. But in terms of the cheapest one that I have a lot of, let's say, confidence in, it would be Drew Holiday at $9,400. But these are the 5 captains that I currently have in play, getting a good amount of exposure to them. We can actually pull up the exposures that I'm getting right now on these fellas. And there you go. Giannis, I'm coming in underexposed right now. It's because I have high randomness on, but you can be damn sure that Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to probably, my guess is that Giannis Antetokounmpo comes in with total ownership between captain and utility spot. I think Giannis probably comes in, actually, you know what? I was going to say 90%, but that's not going to be the case because Drew, Trae, or Middleton and Trae are both expensive, and so is Drew. So this is not like the Paul George slates where he is expensive and nobody else really is. Like Booker and Paul are kind of cutting each other out. There's about 4 other expensive guys. So I actually think I might come in over the field. I would say Giannis is probably 80% on today, if I had to guess. Somebody says, happy birthday, Sal. Appreciate that. Thank you. Paul says, is poly market complicated? I mean, if it's your first time using it, you might be a little bit confused, but that's with anything. That's especially if you were to just go on a sports book for the first time. If you told your girlfriend, your wife, your friend who's never bet, it would be confusing for the first time, right? But overall, no, it's not something that's too hard to grasp, I would say. Like, here you go. You come to this market right here. You type in NBA. Okay, let's see which NBA options we want to choose from. Will the Bucks versus Hawks Eastern Conference? Who will win this Bucks-Hawks Eastern Conference Finals Game 4? So that's today, right? So you could either go there, you can go to the series, which I was making some tweets earlier about the Bucks winning the finals. There being value on that. And the Bucks winning the series is at 91% on Poly Market. That $91 or 91 cents per share. You buy it for 91 cents. If it hits, it's worth $1, 100% of the outcome because it happened, right? But to make it even more specific for you, you come in here. It's just like a trading platform, and all you do is you choose the one that you want. So the Bucks, this is saying that they have a 70% chance to win tonight. It's saying the Hawks have a 30% chance to win tonight. Based on the implied odds right now, the Bucks are right around a 72% chance to win. So there's some value on the Bucks here, right? They're out on the road. There's some value on the Bucks here. So if you wanted to come in here, you would choose the Bucks outcome, or you can choose the Hawks, and you could basically just choose how much you want. Now, they only take a 2% fee in the live trading markets. So the live trading markets are nice because, like yesterday when I had the Suns, they started to come back. I could have gotten out of that without losing as much, right? They go down by 5 or 3 at some point. But I said, you know what, let's let it ride, and they end up losing. So, for example, we can just buy this right here, right? You can come in here. It accidentally hit the terms of service. You can buy $10 worth. We'll show you how many shares I get you. So it's placing the order for us right now. But yeah, you basically just buy them at shares less than $1. So we got the order. We got $10 worth. You come in here. And now you have, if we refresh this, our shares. We have $10 worth of shares at this point. And the $10 worth of shares is about 14 overall shares bought. You can see it right down here. 14.04 shares. So I bought them at 70 cents a piece, right? Average price. If it hits, I'll get up to $1. So the difference there. So 30 cents per share. It's just like any other ROI. If you guys want to try that out, there's a link down below. You can use the promo code SAL. It's very simple. My name, SAL. And like how I just placed the $10 trade right there, a bet, if you will, a trade. How I just placed that for $10, they would match whatever your first trade is up to $100. So if you put $100 in and you only traded 10, they'll only match the 10, right? But if you put 100 in and you put 50, they'll match the 50. It's just like a stock market. It's what it is. It's a marketplace. It's a marketplace that people are just basically betting on. They're putting their money where their mouth in is their slogan, like the slogan, right? It's a common phrase, but they're actually sloganing it, if that's even a word. But they're putting your money where your mouth is in terms of your interest. And it's not just sports, but obviously this is a sports-focused show, so that's what we are using since, we're not talking politics or any other weird, wacky outcomes here. Happy early birthday, Sal. Thank you. I appreciate it. What you guys get me for my birthday? You guys can send me some Amazon gift cards so I can buy some just pointless stuff. I've been addicted to Amazon lately these days. Prize Picks plays today. Yes. Prize Picks earlier today. In terms of the prop markets, I have Connaughton over 13.5 points, and I have Trae Young over 8.5 assists right now. I think I'm going to take a couple more. I want some more action on this game tonight. I'm looking forward. Do you have a couple of optimal lineups? In terms of just what the optimizer is spitting out? I mean, yeah, we can look at like what some optimal lineups look like. So, I mean, here's a diverse look at the lineups. Like the top guy is the captain. So there's Middleton at captain. There's Holiday at captain. There's Trae. So like obviously it's spitting out a pretty diverse group. There's 4 captains in the top 5 lineups, 4 different captains. So you can go a decent amount of spots with your captains tonight. But this is a highly projected lineup that the Big Energy Optimizer is spitting out. We have this optimizer for MMA, for PJ. We will have it for NFL. We may have it for MLB for all the current patrons and potential future ones. You can check it out. Right there, there's a link to that and everything else. Do you think they'll limit Trae with minutes? I say no. I think if Trae Young is playing, he's going to play fully. I think it's very good that he was able to come back in the last game. Now, obviously, that doesn't indicate what he's going to be able to perform today, but I think it's a very good indication that he's just not going to have to shut it all down, right? Like, it's not like he was out of the game, could not come back. It was a massive high ankle sprain that is that bad, right? It wasn't a Kyrie Irving situation, a James Harden situation with his hamstring. So I think that's a positive thing. In terms of limiting his minutes, at the end of the day, I don't actually know if they're going to limit his minutes or not, but to give you some sort of analysis based on the context clues, I would say that Trae Young won't be limited in a pivotal game 4 of a playoff series where if you go down 3-0, you're already 95% chance to lose this series based on the betting markets, 91% based on poly market. So if that's where the consensus is, right in there, we'll call it 93%. You lose this, you're going to be damn near 99.9%, right? So I'd say pivotal game. If Trae's out there, I don't think he's limited. He might be limited in terms of how he plays, but I don't think his minutes will be limited. AD is the brows. Sal is the brows, somebody says. Appreciate that. Got to get these. We got to get the old logo back that we had a while ago. The brows on there. Hey, Sal, Giannis and Capella over rebounds. I would lean the over rebounds on Capella. Let's see what I think on the Giannis side of that one. Let me pull up the Giannis side of that one. But Capella over was like, what, 12.5 rebounds? Is that what you're seeing? I saw Capella over 12.5 rebounds. That wasn't a bad idea. Giannis over rebounds is also at 12.5. Lean the over, but it's a no bet for me. Capella I like more than the Giannis bet there. I like the Capella over more than the Giannis, but the main problem with Capella is they went small ball and took him off the court. That could happen again. So there's more risk on the Capella one. If he plays his normal minutes, I prefer it more than Giannis, just because he has a massive rebounding advantage no matter who's on the court if he can just stay on the court. I think probably your best rebounding prop, though, is Trae Young. I've seen it at 2, anywhere from 2 to 3 today. Obviously, the lower the better if you want the over. I wouldn't take the under 2.5 or 3. I just don't think there's much there. But the over, I do like the over 2, 2.5, or 3. That might be my favorite rebounding prop from an over standpoint. John Collins has an over-under of 10 rebounds. That looks very good. So here's a way that you can do this. If you wanted to kind of parlay or correlate outcomes together in the player props market, if you want to take the John Collins over 9.5 or 10 rebounds, wherever you're seeing it, you should probably take the Capella under, because that, if he's getting over it, there's a decent chance they're playing a lot more small ball, and he's also taking rebounds directly away from Capella since they play most of their minutes together. So taking the over on John Collins, or the opposite, take the under on John Collins, the over on Capella. Kind of correlating those things together. We do this a lot. We did it earlier in the series when Rondo was actually playing some minutes. I took the unders on Rondo and the overs on Beverly because I said, there's not much indication that Rondo should be playing that many more minutes. And we ended up nailing that one. It worked out well. William says, the schmack. What's going on, boss man? How much are you staying away from Trae if he plays? Yeah, I'm not really that interested. I mean, let's see where the ownership's at. The ownership will dictate it. Like, I'm not interested. If the ownership's not interested, we can get away from it. But right now, I'm seeing Trae Young still coming in with the second most ownership. So I'm not really that interested. I want all the honest I can get. And I do like Drew Holiday. I do like John Collins. I do like Chris Middleton. So I'm not that interested in Trae. I mean, I know how fantastic he is. I do think he'll be somewhat limited, not in his minutes, but in how he can perform. Like that probably helps Brook Lopez today. Right, Brook Lopez, who played decent switch defense, drop coverage defense in the pick and roll, if that's what that means. He looked quality in Game 2. In Game 3, he looked decent in there, so he might stay on the court more if Trae is not as effective in the pick and roll, not as effective in making quick decisions and bursts, right, all that type of stuff. Middleton or Collins today? My answer for that one would be Chris Middleton. Best SuperDraft plays today? Good question. Let's pull back up some of the minutes right here. So we can pull up some of the minutes from Atlanta. There's Atlanta's minutes, and you can see the interest for me compared from Atlanta to Milwaukee. A lot more Milwaukee today, right? That will increase in Atlanta if Trae Young was to miss, which if that news breaks, just throw it in here. I'll probably be a minute or so behind just because looking at the chat and things like that. But as of right now, Trae Young, a game time decision as of 2 minutes ago. So no real update in terms of what we're seeing in Trae Young. So right now, what do we have here? SuperDraft play somebody asked me about. I think my favorite SuperDraft play today, taking into account the overall, I think it's Drew Holiday. He has a 1.45x multiplier, and he's like basically my highest projected player tied with Giannis. So I'll take Drew Holiday on SuperDraft today. Raw points, Capella or John Collins today? My answer for that one is going to be very, very close, but the answer probably is going to be Capella. I have Capella for about 1 more point, so it is very close. Capella's minutes are more risky, though, right? Because of what we already talked about. You saw it last game, playing 0 fourth quarter minutes because of them going small ball. What $3,100 and under is projected for the most minutes, Paul? Yeah, so Paul, I think you asked that earlier in the Discord, and then I didn't get back to if you said 2-game or single. So in terms of the 2-game slate today, what $3,100 or 2-game slate today and tomorrow, let me pull up on my other screen over here my projections for the 2-game slate. I have this showdown slate up. So yeah, we have projections for the 2-game slate as well, which is today and tomorrow, and then maybe if they force a Game 7 at home, which the Clippers are 1-point favorites. I saw that. They're 1-point favorites. That might move to being 1-point underdogs like it did last time that happened. But yeah, check it out. Great analysis on Ayton last night with no Zubac, my dude. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, no Zubac actually probably was going to hurt Ayton's ability to just play 42 minutes like he did the game before. So let's see. The minutes right now on guys who are $3,100 and below, who has the most minutes, was the good question that Paul asked for a 2-game slate. Players $3,100 and below, I don't even have that many guys projected at all. So I have Nader for 5 minutes. I have Torrey Craig for 4 minutes. These are guys that will be playing tomorrow. Those guys are $3,100 and below. I have nobody projected at $3,100 or below for Milwaukee. $3,200 is Brim Forbes for 10 minutes. So I have Okungwa for 8 minutes, Solomon Hill for 8 minutes. They're $3,000 flat. So yeah, that's it. I mean, the answer is going to be Onika Okungwa. He is $3,000 flat for 8 minutes of play. He is projected for the most minutes and the best fantasy points. What's the biggest bet you've ever made, Sal? Biggest bet I've ever made? Like money-wise, like how much money I've got down? I have entered, I gotta say this low so your girlfriend doesn't hear, you know. I have entered the Thunder, what is it? Not the Thunderdome, but it was like a 100-person contest, and I think it was $1,500 entry. I wanted to say $3,000, but I think I was way too scared to do that. But I think it was a $1,500 entry on DraftKings, and I ended up placing, which is good, but I mean, you're winning like 1.5x, so 1,500 was like 2,200. That was like an NFL So it was the week after I had the big. So it was week 3 or 4 last year NFL season. Cowboys Seahawks, the week that we had our biggest hit in DFS last year for NFL at 17.7K. The next week, I think I said, you know what, let's just take a little bit out of this and just throw this into a $1,500 contest. Take your shot at one of these ones where it's only like 50 or 100 people in it, and everybody's entering it, and like first place is 50 grand, 1,500 to enter, but you only got to beat like 50 people to win it all, or 100 people, whatever it might have been. But that is my biggest bet, and it was DFS wise, like actual money line bets on things. I think I've had like, I want to say like $500 to $700 in play on like a specific bet. One was the Eagles Super Bowl with the Patriots. I had the Eagles in that one, but the spread was close. Ended up being a wild Super Bowl, being in Penn State where they had a parade downstairs. That bet wasn't as big. That was like $250, $300, but it wasn't as big as like the $500 or $600 ones that I've had. And sometimes I think those have usually been teasers in the past, if like a 2-team teaser, 6 point. My birthday's on the 2nd, says Michael. Nice. Capella or Lopez, Sal? Thanks, Sal. I think that Lopez probably has a higher ceiling just to stay on the court more here, and especially because he showed what he can do. But actual minutes-wise, Capella, just because if Capella just gets somewhat normal run, he's going to play like 6 more minutes. What's up, Sal? Giannis 58 fantasy points and Trey 47 on Prize Picks. Since you have Giannis projected for 16 more, do you lean over on Trey and under on Giannis and under on Trey? I have Trey for about 50 points and I have Giannis for about 66 points. So, I would lean the over on both. But that's also taking into account some other things. But I like the over on Giannis more than Trey because of obvious reasons, the injury. Happy early birthday, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Middleton has been killing, man. He should be considered in the captain spot. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, look, I have 5 captains today, right? We went over it earlier. I have 5 captains so far today that I have interest in. I only let 5 captains get in, and Middleton is one of them. There you go. Those are the 5 captains I have interest in today. Happy birthday, Sal. Thanks, Cal. We're close. Not yet totally birthday-wise. Let's see. Is it bad that when putting my passwords at work, I start typing fellas like I'm logging into the optimizer, says Eric. Hey, we like that. So we answered the biggest bet one. We got a lot of people in the chat today. How y'all doing? Do you like any of the underdog props tonight? Thanks, boss man. I like the Prize Picks props. I haven't looked at any of the underdog props, but the Prize Picks props, I like the over on fantasy points for Connaughton 13.5 and the over assists 8.5 for Trey. Young or Middleton, happy birthday, dog. Thanks, man. We're close. We're not yet there. We're about 6 hours away, but we're very close. Young or Middleton today, I will take I'll take Trey Young. Who's your second cheapest possible captain tonight? Portis, question mark? No, I only have 5 captains. They're on the screen right now. So my second cheapest captain that I'll be playing would be Drew Holiday. Cheapest is John Collins. Candles in the background new, or have I not been paying attention? They are not new. I've had them for about a month. So they've been about a month. Been about a month right now. I do have the light in front of me shining a little bit lighter, and I have a backlight on me, so I stand out a little bit more. So maybe since I'm standing out more, and that's a secondary thing instead of it. I don't know science and shit, right? The other thing I wanted to point out about Polymarket was this market right here. So Polymarket is a sponsor of the show. It's just a marketplace for all of your beliefs, basically. And we're in the sports one right here for the NBA. Hopefully they have some sort of product for the NFL or PJ or something like that. That'd be a lot of fun to play around with once the NBA is over. And we still got like 2.5 weeks of the NBA left. But the other one I wanted to point to is this one right here. That is not it. This one, where's the Bucks series? The Bucks winning the series. The finals as well, something that I wanted to look at. Here we go. So the Bucks to win the Eastern Conference. So the Bucks to win the Eastern Conference right now is 91 cents if you buy it. And what that basically means is a 91% chance of winning it, which is high, right? But when you start to look at the betting markets have the Bucks right now right around like a minus 2,200 to minus 2,000 favorite. So if you put a minus 2,000 favorite into a optimizer or a converter, it means that they have a 95% chance. And some of the betting markets have minus 2,200, meaning that they have a 96%, closer to 96% chance. So the poly market is lagging behind a little bit. So what this is saying is that historically saying, and what the market's thinking is a 96% chance the Bucks win the Eastern Conference Finals, which is this series right here. They're up 2-1 on the road, but a banged up Trey Young and just a better team in general, right? Poly market's saying 91%. So what this means is that you can kind of trade on this margin a little bit here by saying in the poly market, hey, I'm getting a 4 to 5% discount. A 45% discount. So instead of just betting them in the outright series, if that's what you're looking to do, 4 to 5% discount right here is pretty damn good in terms of trying to find spots to bet on margin. And it's because you're going to just find DraftKings and FanDuel, these bigger sports books, they have a lot more action. So when there's a lot more money involved and bets and trades being placed and things like that, you have a more efficient market. There's more volume in it. compared to something that is a little bit newer like Polymarket. And also not even the fact that it's newer compared to those sites that have been around for years. It's also the fact that they don't just focus on sports, where a sportsbook will get all the action coming in from sharps. So since they're not just focusing on sports, somebody who's interested in politics might come over into Polymarket and just say, hey, I'm a casual fan of NBA. I'll throw something in here. Oh, if the Hawks win, I can get 91 cents on a return, which is insane. If the Hawks win tonight, they win this game tonight, every dollar you put in, you get 91 cents back. Or every 9 cents you put in, you get 91 cents back up to $1. That's fucking crazy, actually. There might actually be value in that. There's not, based on what the markets are saying, but there might be value long-term in those types of things. I mean, you saw it last night with the Clippers winning, even though they only had like a 30% implied chance of winning, right? Just taking these underdogs when you get more on the bone on the underdogs, like you're going to there, like a 5% increase. But yeah, if you want to try out Polymarket, you can take it for who's going to win the game tonight. I've just placed a little bit of a coin. We'll place a little bit more soon on the Bucks to win tonight at a 70% clip. That's 70 cents. You test it out. It's linked down below. You can just try it out. You'll have access wherever you are to try it out, and you can trade live, low fees, just 2%. Put your money where your mouth is. Use the code SAL. Simple, SAL, and you will get a match up to $100 on your first trade. So some free money to play around with in there. Interesting Capella for the 2-game slate tomorrow. I think Capella stands out in a major way in the 2-game slate. Capella's my number 4 play tomorrow's slate. Or the 2-game slate. I say tomorrow, but the 2-game slate. Marcus Morris is my top play in the 2-game slate. A little peek behind the curtain. $4,100. Obviously, just got the massive minutes. The price point has an increase for it. He's going to look really fucking good, right? Marcus Morris looks pretty damn good, especially if they have to go without Zubac again. And the fact that Morris was able to play big minutes and have 20 first half points, it looks like he's starting to get at least somewhat healthy, right? What do we got? Yes. John, how you doing, boss man? How are you? Tucker and Sweet Lou or Gallo and Connaughton? Give me Gallo and Connaughton. That might switch a little bit if Trey was out for Sweet Lou, but Gallo and Connaughton I like more. Trey is a game time decision. Thank you. Gallo and Connaughton easily. Yes, I agree with that. John Collins and McCall Bridges, so this is the 2-game slate, or Reggie and Gallo for the 2-gamer. I will take John Collins and McCall Bridges. I'll take the more combined minutes. Reggie obviously has a high ceiling. Gallo's ceiling is somewhat capped, right? Gets more run if they go small ball, but John Collins, you're locking yourself into 35, 36 minutes. McCall Bridges, very similar, who's been struggling in the series, sure, but you're getting him on the court more. Whereas on the opposite side of that one, Gallo could get hot, but that's a big could, right? I'll take the secure minutes there. What you're basically getting there is, let's just call it 72 minutes compared to 66 minutes. I'll take those extra 6 minutes there, especially at similar point per minute productions. Got in here late. Hoarder in the utility tonight. Hoarder for me is not much of a... Is he popping? I mean, he's in a player pool. It's just a showdown slate. As of right now in this slate, like in a player pool, since it is just a showdown slate, I have projected out for at least a half a fantasy point today. So just projected for a minute, 19 players, and I have 14 of those players in a player pool, 5 of which are top priorities, which you can check those out on Patreon, or we're talking about them throughout the video. You can maybe get an idea of that. Kevin Hoarder would be my second least interested player in a player pool. So I have right now 14 guys in a player pool. Or actually, what is it, 15? 14 guys in a player pool, and Hoarder ranks 13th out of those. Only Bryn Forbes is lower for obvious reasons of not getting much run. The main reason is Kevin Hoarder's expensive. There's nothing wrong with him. He's going to play decent minutes, but he's expensive compared to Bogdanovich, who's playing similar minutes at $600 less now. Gallo, who's playing, maybe 5-6 less minutes at $1,200 less now. So he's a little bit expensive. I like you, Sal, but you vilified my take on the Suns public money, which my book showed was correct. Yeah, you can't look at one book for those things, my man. I don't think I vilified it. I just told you that the money actually coming in, the spread started at -5.5. It went to -5 earlier in the day. And then later in the day, it went to -6. So it moved the public side, and then it moved to the sharp side. So early in the day, the public money came in, as it usually does. People start to see it, floods in a little bit, and then it moved an entire point the other way. But you also can't just take into account one book, right? There's 10 books in the marketplace. You might be playing at a smaller book, right? If you're playing at BetMGM or PointsBetter, your local bookie, they don't have as much action, right? So when you look at all 10 books, about 7 of the books moved. 7 of the 10 books that I look at on Action Network's comparison, they moved from -5.5, so the Suns were -5.5 favorite yesterday, to -5. That is public money going that way. And then they moved an entire point in just about 2 hours. That's some heavy hitters moving it. So it happens at 1 or 2 books. People put down big bets. They're respected. They're putting down large amounts, balance it out a little bit, moves the line, and usually the industry will follow if a line moves, and most of them did. Bogdanovich and Tucker, or Gallinari and Portis? I'll take Bogdanovich and Tucker. Can you play Capella and Collins together if no Trey in the lineup? Yes, I believe so. Best SuperDraft plays today. I like Drew Holiday the most. I mean, the big three from the Bucks are going to look fantastic on SuperDraft. After that, Bogdanovich has a nice multiplier of 2.15x, Hoarder at 2.2x, but the big three, my favorite play today is going to be Drew Holiday over there. Was anyone else's projections out of whack, Sal? My showdown projection showed Giannis for 36 and his brother for 50. Yeah, I think that would be out of whack. No, yeah, I haven't heard anything in terms of them being wonky. I would try to re-download them. But yeah, no, I think it's, as long as you're on the projections tab and the projections, you should be all Gucci. Everything is working right now for me, and I'm using the most updated ones. If somebody else is having issues, you can let me know, but I'll try and open up a new one as well. Let's see. So I'm looking right now at this, and I just opened up a new one, and it seems to be all good. Giannis' brother at 0.72 fantasy points, so not quite the 50. Hopefully you can open up and get a new one there. Do you like any player props for tonight? Fantasy points over on Pat Connaughton, 13.5. I do like Trae Young. I have an over 8.5 on Trae Young's assists. I have something placed on that. I also think that Trae Young over 2.5 rebounds is interesting. It seems like the market is down on Trae Young for the obvious reasons of the questionable tag, but I think he'll play, and I think he'll play his normal run. I do think that outside of that, Drew Holiday has a high assist number at 9. I'm seeing in a lot of spots. 8.5 on Prize Picks. 9 now. Friends of the stream, let's not forget to hit your boy with a like if you haven't yet. Thanks. Yeah, on the streams, I usually forget to ask for the like and subscribe. So yeah, if you want to hit the subscribe button, I appreciate that. Thank you. Was anyone else's projections? Okay, we answered that one. We answered that one. How much did you lose on the Suns yesterday? Yeah, so the Suns spread. So the Suns spread -5.5. I almost hit it again at -5, but it didn't. -5.5. And then I think we put in like 50 total, maybe $55 total on Polymarket yesterday doing our first trades. So 55 over there. And then I had a $50 bet on the Suns. So like $105. We're not placing heavy. We're not placing $200 wages like this is the NFL regular season right here. So I had $105 on the Suns. But the nice thing was we hit 3 out of 4 props yesterday. So it didn't necessarily balance it out from a props to just the betting markets aspects. I think I lost from those two combined, not counting DFS. I think I lost like 17 or 27 bucks, something like that yesterday. I'm not playing no normal like NFL $2,000 a weekend in action on these NBA one-game slates. I mean, you heard me talk all year long. The NBA, trying to bet these spreads in them is brutal. It's tough. But now that we're actually digging into these one games, and it's the only thing to do, I'm playing around with betting those spreads right now. By no means are we advocating that these are the best bets to make. The spreads in the NBA are as jam-packed as they can get. But at least if there's going to be some public action and at a higher rate, and I'm digging deep into these motherfucking things, so we're going to try and dig out the edges. Collins and Bridges or CP3 and Tucker for the 2-game slate? Collins and Bridges. I'll take Collins and Bridges. Connaughton, a waste of captain spot with 40 lineups entered or worth a shot in the dart? And 1 out of 40 is fine. I'm not really there. I'm not there. Bogdanovich or Kevin Hoard? Give me Bogdanovich. Sal, I ever tell you I was personal friends with Sweet Lou? Met him in Atlanta. What's his ownership at? Ooh, personal friends with Sweet Lou. What does personal friends mean? Like you guys like go out party like rock stars? I think Sweet Lou will probably be, if Trae Young plays, 18, 16% on somewhere in there. Somebody says fade Middleton tonight. All right. Tucker or Connaughton, raw points today. The answer is going to be Connaughton for me. Actually, Connaughton I have at around 19. What do I have Tucker at? I want to say it's going to be Connaughton. Yeah, it's Connaughton by a decent amount. So is it a must-have the freak in the utility if you're not playing him in captain? He's not going to be 100% on tonight. I'm above the field. He's not a must-have. I have 84% freak, so we'll pull up my exposures in the big energy optimized error. So I have 84% Greek freak tonight. In my one lineup, though, I'm having him. So like my lineups that actually matter, the ones that have the most action in them, I have Greek in them. But if you're playing the 150 max, trying to hit the $150,000 first or whatever it is tonight, I would say you don't need him, right? But in anything small field-wise or limited entries, I want Giannis tonight. And therein lies some of the problems at Showdown because most people are going to have him. So there's somewhat of an edge in fading him, but I think when a guy is projected for 16 points more than anybody else, it's tough to get away from on a Showdown. Is it smart to play all 3 of the big three in a Showdown? They are my 3 favorite plays today, not named Pat Connaughton. So if you can get them all in there, I mean, Pat Connaughton helps you get them in there. The problem is when you do all that, Pat Connaughton is going to be by far the highest on value, not even close. Pat Connaughton will probably be close to double the value of anybody else in the slate. Bobby Portis will come not close, but next closest. So the problem when you do Giannis, Drew Holiday, Middleton, and Connaughton is they're probably going to be the 4 highest owned guys today. Trae Young, maybe he's in there, but probably 5th. So, yeah, that's the issue. You have to get different somewhere. And how do you get different? Well, maybe you get different by playing a sweet Lou Williams at like 16%. Maybe you say fucking and say Bryn Forbes is going to get 16 minutes today because he shoots well finally. He's going to get 6 attempts in 7 minutes last time. If you're looking for low-owned guys who are just low-owned because they're expensive and haven't been producing all that much, that's where Kevin Huerter and Brook Lopez come in, which I do think Brook Lopez is somewhat interesting today, mainly because of the fact that he's low-owned. I don't like Brook Lopez. I don't want to play him in cash games. I don't really like much of his props, but there is a narrative to say that he looked good in Game 2 against Trae Young in drop defense, and now Trae Young is hobbled, right? So maybe they do a little bit less pick and roll. It keeps him on the floor a little bit more, and then it all comes down to if they're going to go. And if Trae Young is not producing as much offensively, we'll see what happens, right? But the second they take Capella off, it's nice. Spit it out, Junior. It's lights out. The second they take Capella out for Brook Lopez, they're going to go Giannis, small ball 5, maybe Bobby Portis, right? Gallo or Bogdan in the 6K range. I'll take Bogdanovich. Sal, have you heard of a glitch on Prize Picks? Scroll up. No, I saw somebody said they got $2,000 in their account. I don't know what that is, but if B Joel. So I don't know if this is what it was, but Prize Picks, if it was your first deposit, Prize Picks is now running a contest if you like refer somebody in there, and on that referral you hit 5 out of 5, you win $1 million. So it's pretty fucking crazy. So if you want to use the link down below, you can check out Prize Picks. But if it's your first deposit, they're using some sort of thing right now. But if you only hit 2 out of 5, you get a certain amount. So if that's what if this was your first time ever playing on Prize Picks, if not, then just I don't know what happened. I don't know if you're just full of shit or if something's just a glitch, but. Assuming you were telling the truth, it could be that new promo that they're running. It started this week. Tucker or Connaughton, raw points. Connaughton. How bad do you want football back? I mean, from like a work standpoint, as this being my job, I would say yes. Like from a business standpoint, it's the biggest time of the season. It's the most enjoying part of what I do. I like covering football. That's how this all started, right? I love the showdown slates and going live when there's so many people in here and we're all just chatting, chilling out, relaxing. The Sunday live streams it's like a tradition. I go get a fucking bacon, egg, and cheese. I come back. I do a podcast for the patrons. We do the Sunday show for like an hour, hour and a half, and then it's all day of football. And you chill out, you relax. It's just such a fun environment. Get some nachos, whatever it might be. So in terms of like the business side, yes. In terms of like the real life side of it, I guess, yeah, it'll be fun. 17 game season will be cool. But Sundays are like it, right? So I guess, sure. Like Sundays, it's just less of like the actual games that are being played. Obviously, I have action on it from like a DFS. If you have a crazy sweat going, it's great. But more of like the environment around it, right? You get together. You're sweating a little bit DFS, but you're getting nachos. You're chilling out. You got a couple of games on. You're watching your real life fantasy. So yeah. I'm excited for it to happen. Definitely, probably more so from a business standpoint, though, just because it's just fun. Like that's where all my enjoyment started for making content was around the football side. On the 2-game slate, your favorite 2 studs: Giannis Antetokounmpo and Paul George. Top plays in the 2-game slate: Marcus Morris, those 2 guys I just named, and Patreon has the rest. Sorry if you answered already, but Bogdan, Tucker, or Galley and Portis. Bogdanovich and Tucker. Why am I getting errors for the SuperDraft projections? Make sure you have the newest version up, but shouldn't be any errors in there. Unless you're looking at the 2-game projection, the 2-game slate, then you might get some errors, but that's only because there's no SuperDraft for the 2-game slate. At least there hasn't been. I didn't check today, but there has not been any other day, so I assume that there's yeah. Let me double check in the Discord. I don't think anything is wrong with the projections. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing any. Hey, Sal, just went to the Patreon page and still got Thanias for 50, for Hill for 42, and Okongwu for 41. Yeah, I don't know. Are you on the projections tab? I don't know. I honestly don't know where you're getting those. I asked a couple of people in the Discord, and they said it was okay, one-on-one. You can just circle back. I just updated it. See if that helps. I just updated the version that I currently have up. Telling the truth, it's crazy. I'm in front of somebody says, yeah, I can't wait. You found a spot that sells bacon, egg, and cheese in Texas? Oh, yeah, there's a fantastic spot. It's a New York deli. It's a little hole in the wall, kind of. It's about 8 minutes from me. It's fantastic, and they're banging. They're better than the ones in Raleigh. They're better than in 75% of the ones that I had in New York. I mean, let's be honest. New Jersey makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches. I'm not from New Jersey. I have family there. I have family in New York, too. I'm from New York. New York's are fine. New Jersey's, whatever's in the water there, they're the best. It's hands down the best. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Somebody says Torchy's Tacos. Last night I had fucking velvet taco. Brutal. This is the second time I brought velvet taco. 2 out of the 3 tacos I've had are just absolute buns. They're terrible. Gallo or Bogdanovich, and why? Bogdanovich, more secure minutes. I've got him for 5 more minutes tonight. He is a .95 fantasy point per minute producer around there, and so is Gallo. So they're basically very similar players, not how they score. Bogdan's obviously dealing with some injuries there, but more secure minutes. Happy Born Day, Sal. Yeah, we're less than 6 hours away from my Born Day. That is true. Does the monthly $25 change on Patreon? Does it change? Whatever package you are in right now, you will be grandfathered into as long as you stay in that package. If you sign up for Patreon this month and then you leave and the prices change next year or something, sure. The prices they could be subject to change, but not once you're in it. If you're in the NFL package, the NFL package is not out. But if you're in the all sports package, like I have 2 all sports packages, you're not going to see one of them because it's not available anymore. But there's about 200 people in the founders all sports package, which was only, I think, $19 or $20. Now the all sports package as of 2021 is $25. So it's a $5 bump. So, yes, if there was to ever be a change, you would be grandfathered in. No word on whether Trey will play or not. He was a game time decision as of 20 minutes ago. I don't think we have an update. My guy, happy early B-Day. Thank you. I appreciate that, Logan. Gallo and Bogdanovich or Collins and Tucker with Drew at captain. Capella. Oh, my God. All right. Gallo and Bogdanovich or Capella. Give me Gallo and Bogdanovich. Give me Gallo and Bogdanovich. All right. So I want to make a trade on this market right here. So I want to make a trade that the Bucks at 91 cents. I mean, you're obviously not getting much out of this. Like every dollar you put in, you're getting 9 cents on. So to put $10 in, you're only making 90 cents. So you have to trade if you want to bet on the Bucks to win the series. You have to trade with some high, because it's such a high probability that they do it. You have to trade with some high, I would say, frequency. But I'll just buy 10 shares right now and see what happens. So we'll buy 10 shares on that. This is yet again, if we go here, this is the poly market. So, yeah, you can bet on your interest, especially even if you just don't want to do sports. Sports is obviously what we're beating the drum on here because that's what we cover. But they have a lot of different markets, which you can see all the markets up here if you want to go to them. There's just a ton of different markets. You can trade live in this as well, just 2% fees in the live markets. So, yes, I would highly recommend checking out poly market down below. It is a nice way to get some action down, especially if you're not in a betting state where you can get some down. You can get some action down. All right, gang. We're going to cover it up. Get your, cover it up. I mean, I'm already covered up. What you doing? What you doing? All right. We're going to finish this thing up and wrap it up. We've been live for about 45 minutes. I'm going to chill out, relax, max, so cool. There will be a video tomorrow morning, but probably not a live stream just because it is your boy's B-Day, and I'm going to be going to some shows and doing some things. Thanks, Sal. All good now. Appreciate that, Bradley. Okay. Happy to hear that. I apologize for any of the inconvenience. Hope you wake up on your B-Day with a lot of dollar-rooskies. Good luck, all. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm excited. 25 tomorrow. Quarter of the way through life. Actually, that's not true. We're going to live to like 150 from what all the science is saying at least. Good luck, everybody. Good luck to you. Have you found out that In-N-Out Burger sucks yet? I don't like fast food, so I haven't had any. I don't think Chipotle or like Cava counts as fast food because it's actually like healthy ingredients and healthy fats and not bad oils. But in terms of like your stereotypical fast foods, your In-N-Out Burgers, McDonald's, all that stuff, I haven't had that shit in like 5 or 6 years. And when I did, it was just like forced upon me one night. Before that, it was like 3 years. So I've had it like once in 9 years. It's just the worst tasting food. People go and spend like $6 at McDonald's and tell me that it's like cheap. That's why they went to McDonald's. I can go spend like $8.50 at like Cava or something and get a much more filling and actually tasting good meal. Enjoy the B-Day, Sal. Thanks. I appreciate that, Escobar. All right. Young will definitely play. How effective he will be is the question. Yes, he'll play. He'll play his minutes, I believe. How effective will he be in those minutes? Just like James Harden was not effective in his minutes, right? That type of stuff. All right, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you. Best of luck. See you in the next one. This video was brought to you by Poly Market. And again, to plug the code, if you use the code SAL, there's a link in the description below. You can check out the Poly Market right now. Low fees, nice ways. They have just good value in the market right now in terms of just getting in there compared to some of the other ones. There's also other things other than sports. And by other ones, I mean other books. There's some value there. So thank you. Appreciate it. Does Cousins foul trouble concern you? Yeah, I mean, I don't really like Cousins tomorrow. I've him at 10 minutes. I don't have him at averaging 2.5 fantasy points per minute. So yes. You starting the ice tray if he plays? Am I starting the ice tray if he plays today? I prefer Drew Holiday and Giannis. Happy early birthday, Sal. Who's the best captain play besides Giannis if you haven't mentioned it already? Drew Holiday for me. Happy birthday, Sal. I appreciate everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow. Not live. Live is up in the air. Probably not doing a live stream on the birthday tomorrow, but we'll have a video out in the morning because I get up at 5 anyway, so we'll spend 2 hours doing a video. Best of luck, everybody. Game 6 tomorrow, so it's actually fun. That series is extended in LA. LA is favorites as of opening -1. We actually have a series now. We don't got to worry about 3-1, not gentleman sweep. We have a series. See you in the next one. Peace out, gang. Subscribe before you go if you haven't already, and if you're watching on the live stream to this point, you got to hit the subscribe button. I mean, come on. Why wouldn't you? Thank you. Thank you, Polymarket, for sponsoring the program, and we'll see you all in the next one. Tucker or Portis? Give me Portis, boy.